What if we redefine success not as an endpoint, but as a waypoint, and allowed ourselves to sit in that deep, deep discomfort that is the only path to growth? What if we saw success not as a final destination, but as a portal?
What does it mean?
I love a good TED Talk.
I do too. That's best-selling author and career expert Laura Gassner Otting's TED Talk on why success doesn't always bring you happiness. The talk getting more than 2 million views and counting.
And now the class of 2025 is venturing out on its own road to success in a tough job market in recent years. And in this market, it's essential to stand out and make a good impression.
Yes.
So Laura joins us now to talk about what recent grads can do to set themselves up for success. Welcome to the show.
Hey, it's great to be back.
All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. How should recent grads, or anyone for that point, approach this job market right now?
So I know it's really frightening right now to be in the job market, but the first thing that I would say to recent grads is that the very first job you have is not going to define you for the rest of your life. So rather than thinking, I got to just find any job, I got to get a job, I got to put something on my resume, think, what problem do I want to solve? What kind of network do I want to build? What kind of people do I want to get to know? And put yourself in the position to be doing work there, because then you can build the network and the knowledge to create an actual career trajectory rather than just find job after job after job.
Yeah, and Laura, the interview process, of course, is key. So how do you make a good impression and stand out among all the other candidates who are applying for the same job?
The most important thing to do in an interview is to do a lot of listening, and to ask a lot of questions, because everybody's favorite topic of conversation is what? Themselves. So in 20 years of doing executive search, I found that the interviewers who thought the interviewees were the best were the ones where the interviewers did the most talking. So rather than going in there trying to blast the interview with all the things you know from your big, long 20 years of life, ask them questions about where they came from, how they got into this job, what they love about the company, what's interesting to them, what kind of problems they're solving. And that will actually create a conversation rather than a monologue.
Okay, but you also say there are some things to not say. Walk us through some of those.
So I definitely wouldn't start off with like, how much vacation is there and how much am I going to earn and when am I going to get promoted? So you want to start off with things like, I'm excited to be here. Here's the research that I've done. Don't talk negatively about former coworkers, about an internship you had, about an old boss. Definitely, if there are gaps in your resume, bring those up. Explain where they were. Everybody has had life happen to them. So to be in a place where you can say, here's where I was, here's what happened, here's what I did to amend it, that actually tells me more about you as a candidate than if you're just trying to gloss over things. And of course, avoid those cliches like, oh, my biggest weakness is that I work too hard. Like, come on, that's ridiculous. And it creates a lack of trust.
Yeah, my biggest weakness is I'm a perfectionist.
Exactly.
I hate when people say that.
I'm remembering an old joke where there were two people who were interviewing for a job, and they asked him, what do you explain this 4-year gap on your resume? He said, oh, that's when I went to Yale. They're like, oh, well, that's nice. Okay. And so the same guy was like, so when do I start the job? Why is it okay to say, I don't know, rather than fake it until you make it?
It's not only just okay, it's preferred to say that. So when I was young and I was trying to pretend like I knew everything, I was so busy acting like I knew what I was doing, dressing up in my mom's old clothes for trying to look like this, super impressive person for a job that wasn't even the job that I necessarily wanted. I was so busy pretending that I missed how the deals were being made, how relationships were being formed, how people actually learned. And so if I had stopped for a moment and just said, I don't have the answer to that, but I'll find out, that would actually allow me to sharpen my people skills, to understand how problems got solved in that office, to understand the norms of how relationships were built there. And if you're so busy faking it, you don't actually have any time to learn it. Not only that, by the time you fake it and you get to where you want to get to, you don't even know if you want to be there because you don't even understand the job that you've been faking. So just being able to say, I don't know, but I'll find out means that I, as a leader, can trust you, can rely on you, can know that you're somebody who is curious and who learns and who solves problems.
Wow.
All right, so let's talk about the person who has secured the job. How should they prepare before they actually start?
I would say that there is a supercomputer sitting in all of our hands, and you can get on social media. You can learn about all the people who you're going to see. You can figure out where they went to college. You can figure out what their hobbies are. You can figure out if they have kids. You can figure out if they're on boards of organizations. You can look at corporate outings and figure out what kind of clothing people wear there, what some of the norms are, how they get to know each other. So being able to be on social media and doing some research before you walk in the door allows you to walk in the door already there and better.
Do your research. Some key advice. We didn't do research before this interview about you. We almost canceled it in the commercial break because she's a Celtics fan.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, it's too soon.
But I'm wearing Nick's orange.
There you go. All right. Way to save it.
Because I did research.
Way to save it. All right, Laura, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And you can check out both of her books, Limitless and Wonder Hell, for more career and life advice.